The first and one of the most popular questions, especially in Reddit: when will the game receive the crossplay option?
Yes, we know about such demand and it currently remains in work. We hope that crossplay will see daylight in 2024.
Also, a quite frequently asked question that we receive across various social medias: will the old brawls such as Gronch and Operation Red Light ever be added to arcade?
We had many different brawls in different forms over the years, and we are perfectly aware that some of them are dearly loved by our players. However, at this moment, we're not planning to add them to arcade, though it is possible that we will return to this matter in the future.
Another one, also a frequent and quite pressing question: there are too many bots in PvP missions. Will the developers do anything about it?
We are monitoring the situation. We've already come up with some ideas to make this game mode more interesting for players. We've already adjusted controls in order to make them more comfortable. Also, don't forget that this game mode is available not only for armored flyers, but for classical vehicles too, with battles on the ground and in the skies at the same time.
The last of the frequent questions: since we added armored flyers, the players have been complaining that the maximum available 32 slots are not enough for all vehicle types.
We saw such complaints in commercials for a while. However, there are some technical problems that restrain us from increasing the blueprint maximum fast and without consequences. Nevertheless, we are not ignoring this problem and are already working on ways to solve it.
Artem Maximovich: I see no sense in gathering questions. The developers deny any critics and their own mistakes. Problems, bugs, etc. for them are something ordinary. The excuse, "we have no time to fix this, we have a BP," doesn't work. Veteran players are long ignored. One of the SM, I'm not pointing fingers, said, "If veteran players don't like our updates, they are free to go. We are working with newer audience. Some will go and some will come. Veteran players don't like this balance, bugs in the code and problems in the game, not the updates." Recently, the developers made a mistake in the code, and it was possible to dupe legendaries for free in the new BP. There are people who duped about 500 legendaries, leveled them up, and remained unpunished. The guilty ones were not found. There is a huge mistake aspect in the game: hastened development, meta in clan wars and random battles, not actual items that remain unfinished, maps, textures, hover aiming, physics, perks, and other key elements of the game. Someday, employees of Targum and Gaijin will get what they deserve for their attitude towards their projects and games. We'll see what happens to these companies in a couple of years. Good luck in development.
Hello, Artem. First, we're going to answer about the narrative with legendaries. Such a bug really existed, but it was fixed almost instantly. All abusers were found and punished, and the results of their activity were returned to the original state. Economics were not affected. Now, about the errors you describe. Meta will always be present in competitive games, and the real question is about how it is changing. We talked about it during the last session. Watch it after this video. In fact, you may see the list of fixed bugs in any patch note. Work is underway. Even the fundamental game mechanics are being reworked. For example, the recent changes in penetration mechanics. Unfortunately, bugs are present in any game at any time. But we should keep in mind that someone uses the word bug to describe patterns of some mechanics. They don't like them and they call it a bug. There are also critical bugs which we fix as soon as possible.
Alexander Forays: the Leviathan, it costs a lot. There are lots of parts that are not needed in usual crafts in such amounts. At the same time, there is nowhere to test it. Are you planning to add new game modes like raids or clan wars with Leviathans? Maybe some other game modes, for example 1v1 arena for Leviathans.
For testing, wait for the next updates. We're not planning to add game modes, but after the updates you probably won't need them. We're not planning on any one-on-one game modes since they will overload servers and probably won't be in demand.
Anthony Swofford: a question about the penetration mechanics. There are two systems of penetration in the game. It is the system that is calculated in percentage and the one using pins, which is used by Executioner and Prosecutor 76mm guns. I noticed that when the system of pin penetration doesn't apply, for example when Prosecutor hits a detail-sized 2x2x2 pin, in this case pin system doesn't sum up with the percentage penetration system, which has a significant impact on the effectiveness of the weapon in comparison with other weapons, even of low rarity. Here is the example. In this case, lower rarity cannons are far better than the teal one, and it should be the opposite. So the synergy of these two systems for such weapons simply doesn't work. Do the developers have any plans for resolving this problem?
The mechanics work correctly as described within the game. We watched the video, and it works correctly there as well. The player ignores the penetrating ability and wants it to be like other guns have, and this is a matter of balance. Executioner and Prosecutor have adequate values of demand and performance.
I bought the Cerberus cabin, and I have the following question. Why do I always jump on the enemy's roof in a frontal bump? Why does the cabin that saws explosive modules have no resistance to explosion damage?
We can't say anything about jumping. It is probably because of your craft structure. As for explosion damage resistance, the team decided to add it. You may test it in PTR.
ABDE now or FB. Is there any planned changes for the Clan War matchmaking? The fact that its power score unlimited makes it dominated by relic users and almost unplayable for free-to-play players?
We are thinking about Clan War changes, but we can't say anything in particular because it may change later. Wait for the announcements.
Leoncer GT. Why do dailies for weapons count quasars as cannons, auroras as machine guns, but gravistars don't count as shotguns? Will Falco and Petrel be available for craft on a permanent basis after the end of BP?
We're not planning to leave rotors available for crafting for now. We will discuss the matter with Gravistars with our team separately.